to even multiple, doctors as well. Get a second opinion. But as much as you can to gather as much cash as possible in time for the surgery is going to be your goal. Thanks, Annette, for calling. I'm so sorry you're going through it. This is The Ramsey Show.
Gazelle was made for you. The never-quitting, non-stopping Gazelle Intense. With Gazelle, you can say goodbye to monthly fees and experience a seamless integration with every dollar. So no matter how or where you spend, you are always in control. And since Gazelle is FDIC insured, you don't have to worry if your money is safe. Gazelle, the debit card that helps you spend and save the Ramsey way.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I told George in the break, I was like, let's revisit that because I feel like we gave Annette in our last segment quick advice with the situation. So she has about $40,000 in debt. She's even struggling just to make payments right now on even just getting food, and then has an upcoming surgery to fix her eye so that her cornea, something with her cornea. So it's her sight. It's a big deal. So what we were saying is that a lot of, some of the angst is coming from the unknown, not knowing what insurance is going to pay, and also getting a second opinion. And then, having multiple opinions is very important, especially if you're going to do something like a surgery, because depending on the doctor, the hospital, all of it could vary drastically. And so that's an important piece of information. But always, you guys, if you're in a situation that you have to pause the debt snowball and say, okay, whether it's a medical procedure, whether it's, you're going to be moving in the next 90 days, like we need to pile up some cash, whether it's, again, medical, you're pregnant, whatever it is, and there's reasons to pause the debt snowball for a period of time to save up cash for something, we recommend doing that. And so in her case as well, understanding how to get some extra income, because she makes $43,000 a year, getting that extra income is going to be really important to pile up that cash. And then in the medical community too, it's like, okay, is there a payment plan option to set yourself up in, so kind of talking through some of those options and looking at hard numbers, not just the emotion, is also very important.
Yeah. And there was a few things she mentioned there. She had followed the plan and it worked, and then she fell off the horse and went back into a bunch of credit card debt around Christmas time. And now, there was a lot of shame and guilt and baggage along with that we didn't really even have time to address.
Yeah.
But part of that, we took a similar call the other week where someone did their debt-free scream and then went back into debt later, which is fairly rare, I will say. But part of that was, if you cut up that card, Annette, then you can't go into debt. And so part of it is getting rid of the things that caused harm to you in the first place. So where you go, you know what, I need to talk to family and say, I can't do gifts this year. I don't have the money, and I don't want to put myself in a situation where my mental health is struggling, my financial health is struggling because you got to open a present.
That's right. Oh my gosh. This Christmas season, you guys, we're all in the thick of starting to shop for it. And just be aware. I'm like, if you're not in a position to give a ton this year and buy gifts and everything, communicate that and say it out loud, because it removes a lot of that, that fear of what are they thinking? What's the story in my head that I'm telling myself about?
You got to swallow your pride.
Yeah. And just say, hey, this year, this is the situation, because being generous with Christmas gifts to friends and family and going into debt for that is not worth the burden of the after effects of what ends up happening in January, February, March, April, and so on. So yeah, you're exactly right, George, of just taking the temptation out, cutting up the cards, and knowing that, yes, your behavior is what has to change in order for you to make progress. And so I hate that for her because, she's in a tough situation, but
also don't beat yourself up if you have to pause the debt snowball because life happened.
That's right.
It's okay. Yes, we want you to be gazelle intense, and that's awesome. But John Deloney and I, we took a call on the show the other day, and she said, hey, my mental health is like on the brink, and I'm trying to pay off debt. And we said, pause the debt snowball and make sure that you're healthy, and then we can get back to the debt.
Yes.
It'll still be there to pay off. And you can get back to gazelle intensity, but we got to take care of ourselves and our health as well.
Yeah, it's not just like straight linear line going up.
At all
Life
costs.
isn't. It's like it's up and down, you guys. You want to be on the path of going up, right? Of getting yourself in a better financial situation.
And health scares, man, that is one of those I've had it never again moments when you deal with something like that and you don't have the money, you're not sure how you're going to pay for this. And it literally, I mean, this is one of those life or death things. And so, and healthcare, as we know it, it's just a crap show, Rachel. It's like going to a restaurant and there's no pricing on the menu. And you're like, I don't know what this is going to cost. And so I don't want to go through with it. And there's a lack of transparency and we need a lot of reform in that area for sure.
Yes, you're exactly right. All right, up next we have Andrew in, is it Marquette?
That sounds right.
Is that right? Okay. Hey, Andrew, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Absolutely. How can we help?
So I'm in the early stages of potentially getting a new job and moving. I'm kind of in the early interview stages, so nothing's set in stone yet. But if we move, currently we live in a home where it's 100% paid off. We're debt-free. And where we're moving to, the housing prices are a lot higher. So our current house would probably sell maybe 120, 130 after we finish a couple of the projects I haven't finished yet. And then where we're going, that would not be enough to pay cash for a house. So I was kind of wondering what the best option would be. Would it be to maybe one thing we had thought about was buy some land for cash and then rent for a few years and cash flow building a house? Or would it be better to just use what we get from our current house as a down payment on something in the new location?
Yeah, where are you guys moving to?
I actually be down in your neck of the woods, like the Nashville area.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
So from Michigan to Tennessee, that's quite the haul.
Yeah, so I would recommend, Andrew, honestly, since we're talking about where we are right now, which is great, I would rent when you guys first get here. I would not feel the pressure to go and buy because like every city out there, there's parts of it that are awesome and great for your family. There's parts that are like, oh, that's where all the Gen Zers are. That's great. They don't have a yard and I wish we did, or that side is more artsy.
Or
this one's way too suburban.
We want to go to these schools.
Yeah, or the schools. Yeah, I mean, it's all of it. And so I would not make a big financial decision like buying a house until you really, really, really know the area. And so, yeah, if I were you, I mean, I would probably just rent for a year and see where you're at. And then, yes, take the money from the sale of your home, the 130, and use it, for a down payment. And then I would just take the formula that we always say around here when it comes to buying a home. For your new mortgage should be a 15-year fixed rate. No more than 25% of your take-home pay is your monthly payment, and kind of follow that rule of thumb, and then buy something with that.
Yeah, and the question to always ask yourself is, would I buy a house in Marquette, Michigan for $130,000 if I lived in Nashville? And the answer is usually, no, I probably wouldn't do that. And that's how you know the answer is, okay, I'm going to sell it. I'm going to put the money I get from the proceeds in a high-yield savings account. We're going to rent for a year while we stack up more cash. And then when we're ready, we do the down payment. So that's the way to do it with wisdom and patience where you don't have any regrets.
Sure. So you guys think the land option would just not be smart? I mean,
no, I mean...
In Tennessee, land is, it's expensive. Or you're saying in Marquette?
Yeah, No, in Tennessee. So the reason I like that idea, I'll be perfectly honest, is I really like to hunt, and so getting some land would be nice to be able to hunt on. But I do understand that land. I haven't really done like super detailed research, so I don't know what the land.
That's an option. I wouldn't be mad at that if there's land that you guys could afford to buy, and then you rent, take out a construction loan do the, build the house that you guys want. But again, it's all going to be about your budget and depending on kind of where you are in the middle Tennessee area.
We've got a lot of guys here that love to hunt, and I'm sure they'd all would love to buy some land. But some of them they go out and hunt, and they live in normal neighborhoods, and they go hunt on the weekends. And so that's a very normal thing as well. So I love the dream, but it just may be a 5 to 10 year dream versus a 1 year dream.
Yes, yeah. But we're not mad at buying a piece of land and building on it. That could be an option if you
he
find
loves
it.
him some land.
He does.
He just wants to have 20 acres of nothing around him, and so there's
doesn't
nothing
every
wrong with
guy
that.
though? Do you, George? My husband would. He would move.
That's a
He would
Winston thing.
move out of a neighborhood in an instant and just be on just land with trees and.
I also like civilization and being
dirt.
near a grocery store. There's some conveniences to that as well.
You're
having a
you're a
5-minute
metropolitan man.
I'm a city slicker, Rachel.
That's
right.
From Boston.
That's right.
Doing it all. I know. Well, and again, I think, Andrew, too, part of helping you make that decision is actually flying down, looking around, looking at options, seeing stuff with your own eyes, and looking at prices, because that's gonna be able to give you an answer pretty quickly on what you guys
Nashville versus
can afford.
Marquette, vastly different.
I know, and I'm sorry, Andrew. If you came here like 15 years ago,
Where
it
were
was
you,
so
Andrew?
different. It was so different. You could probably get a bunch of land. Now,
I want to sing If I Could Turn Back Time, Rachel, but I won't because we'll be taken off the air.
dang it, I wish you would. This is The Ramsey Show.
I say it all the time. If you're a business owner and you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. And when markets are shifting, it's even more important. You've got to know where you stand so you make your next move the right move. And you don't have to be in the dark here. Over 31,000 businesses, including my team at Ramsey, know their numbers because they use Netsuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. Netsuite gives you visibility and control of your financials, planning, budgeting, and inventory so you can manage risk, get reliable forecasts, and improve margins. Having everything in one place has saved my team hours each week since we made the switch to NetSuite. NetSuite is a game changer. So head on over to netsuite.com/Ramsey to get a product tour today. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey.
Well, you guys, it's November, and if you can already feel it, the holidays are in the air. And it's the best time of year for many reasons, but most important, it is this season for giving. And if you know anything about Ramsey, you know that we love Christmas and we love giving. So that's why we have a tradition, the Ramsey Christmas Cash Giveaway. You can start entering now for your chance to win. It's our weekly $500 prizes or the $5,000 grand prize. Just think about all that cash, what that cash could do for your budgets. So go to RamseySolutions.com/giveaway and enter every day to increase your chances to win. You can enter every single day, no purchase necessary, and you must be 18 or older to win. That's RamseySolutions.com/giveaway. And while you're there, check out some great gifts that maybe you can give the people in your life that you love. I have some personal favorites there in the store, and one of mine is the 2023 Ramsey Goal Planner. It's a great way for you or someone you love to win in the financial, spiritual, and relational areas of your life. So Dr. John Deloney, George Camel sitting next to me, and myself, we've teamed up to help you guys and your loved ones tackle these goals with our monthly motivation here in the Goal Planner. So this is not just a normal calendar, George. This is a full-on goal planner. I mean, with so much content, and of course you have your calendar stuff in there, which is important, but
There's some teaching.
There's a lot of teaching and everything in here that you need. So make sure
it's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Part of it is the aesthetic.
Foil. I know, and the gold, just beautiful.
I got to sign my first one from one attendee in Sacramento that came to our Building Wealth event last week.
Yes.
Or this week.
And you got to sign the Ramsey Goal Planner.
It was wonderful.
So great. So make sure to check them out because they do sell out every single year. Go to RamseySolutions.com/planner to get yours today. And speaking of, giving stuff to your loved ones to help them out, tell them about the show. If you love the show, make sure to share it with a friend.
It costs you nothing. Let me remind you.
Yeah, and just spread the word and make sure to subscribe and rate the show. Everything you need to do. Not rate it.
Yeah,
leave a review.
Rate and review. You do rate it 5 stars and then you leave a review.
Okay, review is what I was
You're
thinking
accurate,
of.
Rachel.
Yeah. Lots of R's happening.
Don't second guess yourself.
So when it comes to shopping, George, though, there's so many options when it comes to buying stuff. We obviously teach the debit card, cash, spending your own money, not going into credit card debt or taking out loans. But there's been a sneaky way to pay for stuff that came on the scene probably, 12, 18 months ago in a big way. The buy now, pay later option. And the Gen Zers love it. And that means there's a lot of debt associated with that.
Oh, yeah. Here's an article from MSN. Buy now, pay later drives Gen Z into debt, and it goes into a story about Sarah, who had saved $16,000 for her future home by the time she was 18. Amazing. Then she started using buy now, pay later products and, quote, ruined everything. In just 2 months, she racked up $5,000 across 3 of these buy now, pay later companies, ballooning balances alongside unexpected medical costs, drained much of her savings, and prompted her to seek help from a financial advisor. But the damage was done. Her credit score dropped, and now she's 21, and her home purchase has been set back by at least 2 years, and she's scared she won't even be able to get a mortgage.
Man,
really sad.
And 5 of the major buy now, pay later companies, here are these numbers, George, have originated 180 million loans totaling $24.2 billion last year.
Oh, gosh. And let me remind you guys, these are loans. They're
yes,
micro
it is
loans.
debt.
But they go, Rachel, I bought a $50 pair of jeans and it let me do it in installments of $12.50 a month. That's not a loan. It's a loan.
It's a loan. When you owe money to someone, that is debt. And it's tricky because, George, honestly, if I didn't live by the principles that we teach, I'm a shopper, you know this. I love to spend money. And when I check out, majority of the places I check out have that option at the bottom, buy now, pay later. And they show you what you just need to pay for right now. And it's tempting. You're like, I understand.
It looks like it's 75% off.
Where you think,
in your mind.
Oh, is that it? Well, then let me go add some more stuff because I could spend a little bit more than just that one payment. I mean, it is crazy.
Well, they don't see
psychology
because Gen Z is very anti. Like a lot of them don't like credit cards, but they don't see buy now, pay later as the same way because they go, well, Rachel, it's interest free, so like it's basically free money. That's the mentality.
Yeah. But also when you don't pay back all the fees and the back interest, everything piles in too. So you have to know
we
that.
talked about this on, I did the podcast, The Fine Print, and you were the guest for the episode on Buy Now, Pay Later. And we talked about how beyond all the fees and interest, what Buy Now, Pay Later does so well is causes you to overspend. Because now your $50 cart is a $12.50 cart, so you go, well, I can add more because I was going to plan on spending $50.
Yes,
so I can add 4 times as much stuff for the same price, except you owe that every single month with fees and interest, and that means you can't spend that money on something else.
That's right.
There's opportunity cost there.
Yep. And so it leaves you not in a good spot, just like, who was it, Sarah here? Sarah that had, $16,000 saved, and now she's deeply in debt.
So don't fall for this marketing, Gen Z or anyone else, because it's not just Gen Z that's falling for this. It's anyone who doesn't want to use their money now, or they don't have the money and they don't have options for credit cards and things like that. Some people don't get approved, but Buy Now, Pay Later is very lenient. They're happy to give you these micro loans. So if you want to learn more about that, you can check out episode 4 of The Fine Print on the Ramsey Network or wherever you listen to podcasts, and you can hear Rachel and I's take on it there.
That's right. All right, up next, we have Sarah in Wellington, Florida. Hey, Sarah. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. How can we help?
So I'm 17 and I ride horses, and I'm at the age where my mom isn't really paying for it. as much as she used to. So right now, I pretty much pay for all my riding lessons. I pay for most of my show fees. And once I turn 18, I'm pretty much on my own. And I love riding. I would love to have my own horse someday, but I also want to be able to save for my future. And I'm just not sure how to be able to, like, follow my dreams in riding, but also be able to save for my future. So, like, one day when I have the money, buy an apartment or a house or whatever.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you calling, Sarah. And at 17, you sound very, very mature. Okay, so tell me this. What are your plans at 18 for life? Are you going to go to school? Are you going to go to a trade school? Are you going to go straight into the workforce? What are you thinking is going to happen when you turn 18?
That's, like, also one of the things I'm having trouble deciding. Like, do I want to go to a college and study something with horses and be able to, like, work my dream job? This way I have the riding opportunities I want. Or do I go into something like law and be able to make the money, but I'm not doing something that I love as much?
Sure. Well, I would say this. Your degree doesn't necessarily have to dictate and pigeonhole you, to something very, very specific. So if you don't know exactly what you want to do, I would go a little bit more broad that has, market value to know that what you're going to make. And so maybe something that's not as specific and niche as, horses, because what kind of degree would that be?
Equestrian studies? I don't know. What is that, Sarah?
So there's a lot you could study with horses. There are different colleges that have different programs. So they have, like, barn management, which is like the equivalent to business management, but to running your own barn. Or there's training. Some colleges have riding programs where you could learn how to ride.
The question is, Sarah, at the end of that, if you get any of those degrees, are there actual jobs that pay you enough to still survive and live your life and afford the horse and afford to buy a house and those kinds of things? What I don't want is you have to live in the barn with the horse because you're getting paid $12 an hour with your degree.
It depends. Like, I'm lucky enough that I live in a very horse-populated area.
I didn't know that was a thing. A high horse population.
Yes. Okay. So, Sarah, we're about to head into a break. But what I would tell you is keeping your options open, not pigeonholing yourself so tightly into something that you can't have other options if you decide to do something else later down the road, I think would be smart when it comes to your college. And then you need to know, okay, how much is this going to cost for me to still enjoy this hobby? And then how much do you need to make to live off of and enjoy the hobby? But your hobby might have to go on pause depending on how much money you bring in. And that's okay, because you can always go back to it. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. We're taking your calls. It's a free call anywhere in the country at 888-825-5225. I'm Rachel Cruz hosting this hour with George Camel. Up next, we have Brandon in Lafayette. Is that how you say it?
I think it's Lafayette.
Brandon,
Brandon, correct us if we're wrong.
Man,
Let's let Brandon tell us.
It's the Southern in me. Yeah, Brandon, how do you say it properly?
How's it going? It's Lafayette.
Oh,
Lafayette.
Man.
Love it.
Is Lafayette? There's a Lafayette, Tennessee.
Tennessee says things
the
all
same
kinds.
way.
They also say Lebanon. I'm like
Lebanon, Merville.
I've got family in
Maryville.
Lebanon. It's not Lebanon.
Lebanon, Merville. All right,
it.
Brandon. Sorry, we're here for you. How can we help?
It's all right. It's not the worst that I've heard, but
there you go.
It's okay. But so my question is, my wife and I were relatively new listeners, and we kind of did the plan backwards starting off because we didn't really know, but we kind of started investing into a Roth IRA and a brokerage account for about 3 years now, and we have some loans that we want to pay off by the end of the year. But depending on the forgiveness, I guess two scenarios might happen. If we do get the forgiveness, we'll be able to pay everything off, but only have about $3,000 left over. But if we don't get the forgiveness, I guess I'm wondering, do I tap into my brokerage account or the Roth IRA?
Okay, so how much you guys owe?
Right now, it's sitting at about $70,000.
Okay, and how much is in the brokerage account?
Right now, it's about like 22 to 23.
Okay. So I'll tell you what I would do, Brandon. That's kind of how I usually answer these questions, is if I were to wake up in your shoes. George, you can give your thoughts
My
as well.
shoes may be different. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. We're about to see. So if I were you, Brandon, yes, I would take, or I'm sorry, I have one more question for you. Do you guys have any just cash around in a savings account?
We have in a high yield savings. We have about 62,000 right now.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So if they do give us 10,000 of forgiveness, we'll be able to pay it all off with just our money in our savings account. But we'll only have about 3,000 left over. So, and in that scenario, I'm also wondering, do I take out money from my brokerage account to kind of kickstart my emergency savings?
Yeah. So, okay, here's what I would do if I were you. A brokerage account, I mean, it's fine. I'm sure. Are you using it for single stocks and moving that money around?
Yeah. So
that's so I'm not a fan of that way of investing, period. And so if I were you, I would just take the $23,000 out of your brokerage account, take the remaining out of your savings, your $62,000, and pay off this $70,000 today. And then what you have left in your high yield savings account is probably enough to cover your 3 to 6 months worth of expenses that we talk about in baby step 3. And then from that point on, then I would just continue to fund your Roth IRA. I would not touch it, period. I would continue to fund it and fund, some good growth stock mutual funds, look into some other retirement investing as well. And then if this student loan forgiveness actually goes through, then you can do a refund and actually apply for that and get the money back if that's what you guys choose to do. But I would not, Brandon, sit and wait for that to go through, because it's going to take an act of God for all of this to go through. And with the midterms coming up and possibly even, depending on what the Senate does, the House of Representatives, I just never put my faith in politics. It feels so shaky to me. And apparently the Supreme Court's wanting to get involved into this whole student loan forgiveness thing too. I mean, it's
going to be a bloodbath.
It's just it's crazy, and it may go through. I mean, who knows? But it's not. I mean, we're not seeing something happen at here in the next. At the end of the year, for instance, here in the next 60 days. So again, if it goes through sometime next year, you can always do a refund and get that back. But if I were you, I would not sit and wait. I would pay this off, and I'd be done with it and move on to investing.
Yeah, the way you described all this, you guys are so driven, and you didn't do the baby steps in order. That's okay, because tomorrow, imagine this: you're completely debt free with a pile of money in the bank. Man, that is a different place to be. And now every dollar that comes in stays with you. You're not worried about what's going to happen with student loans, and you can continue to keep saving. And, what's your next goal, Brendan? Do you guys have another goal in mind?
Yeah, definitely probably need a new vehicle at some point in the next year or two, but definitely probably start a family soon. So my wife, she just graduated from school, so she just got a job, so we can kind of start and just to get on with our lives. That's what we kind of just want to do, and stop looking at this pile of
stop looking at the rear view mirror. That's awesome. What's your household income once she starts working?
So she started working like 2 weeks ago, and so we just probably hit around 180 before taxes or anything.
That's
awesome,
incredible.
Brandon, that's great.
Now imagine 180 minus Uncle Sam staying with you, and you guys can save up. You're going to be able to upgrade a car in no time. You're going to be able to save up and, purchase property and invest and just build wealth like crazy. I mean, you guys are so young. You're doing incredible. So you can do what you want to do, but man, you cash out that brokerage account and never look back and pay off all this debt, you're going to be in an amazing spot financially.
Yeah. I think, I have it in my head that I'm definitely not waiting past the end of the year. So I think I'm setting that as my line. So if nothing happens at that point, I'm most likely just going to take it out and pay it. But yes, I mean, I guess in the chance that they do forgive it and we're able to pay it off with just the money in our bank account, we'll have about $5,000 left over. Do you think at that point?
I'm still cashing out that brokerage.
Yeah.
Because so much of that money, it is kind of just playing the stock game, and in general, we're just not a fan of that. Looking at what's going to, over time, where is my money actually going to make money? And there's a sense of it's a little bit of that kind of gambling feel of playing the single stocks game and seeing what you can do. And over the length of time, we've just found that spreading your money around something like just a good mutual fund, it's not as exciting. It's not as
but it's also
flashy.
Not as stressful and anxiety inducing because you're watching that single stock jump up and down, and you get the adrenaline and you get the anxiety. Man, if you're going to start a family and you're going to be a dad, I just don't want you worrying about that and losing sleep over what your single stock is doing. You're going to be losing sleep over that baby instead. That's more fun. More joy.
When I got into the brokerage account, I wasn't really, too knowledgeable about all the different ways to invest and stuff. So I haven't really put any money into that in a while.
Yeah.
So I just kind of been hanging on to it because it kind of dipped down. So I was just waiting to see if it would come back up. But at this point,
no, I hear you.
It might
for
not
sure.
be worth the wait.
Yeah, and there's no fatal errors here. You're a smart guy, Brandon. Obviously, you know what you're doing, and so I think it's just putting a little bit more of that knowledge, a little bit more of that predictability in place. But I know you threw out the option of a Roth IRA using some of that, so we didn't really touch on that. But I would just say for everyone listening, do not touch your retirement investing. Don't touch your 401k, your Roth IRA. It's not worth the penalties, the fees, the taxes, everything, with Roth, but all the extra that comes with it when you cash out early, not at retirement age. So,
and the caveat on the brokerage account, make sure you're working with your tax pro because there will be tax implications on all the growth that you've experienced in that account. Right. And so you want to make sure you're planning for that. You know how much you're going to owe, all that good stuff. But Rachel, I just got a message the other day from a guy who's now on the Ramsey plan, but he wasn't before. He was playing with single stocks in his Robinhood account and he had made some money. So he was excited about it. Then he got into options trading, which is one of the riskiest types of trading you can do, and he showed me his Robinhood account. It was at 10,000 and now it's at 0 because of his options trading.
He lost it all?
He lost it all.
Oh man.
And so he was kind of showing me, that was him going, I got burnt on the hot stove and I'm just done playing that game.
I know, and
I hate that he had to learn the lesson that way. I just want to tell everyone, just don't be that guy.
Yes.
You can avoid it.
When you look at the market long term, this is the time to get in, number one, because it's low. While everyone's freaking out, put your money and continue to invest because then you get to enjoy the ride up. And again, it's predictable. When you're playing the single stocks game, it's all up in the air. But when you know you're in it for the long term, investing in boring things like a mutual fund or Roth IRA.
Rachel. Be the crock pot in a world full of microwaves.
That's right. Thank you, George, for a great hour of radio. Thank you, America, for listening, and everyone in the booth helping work this, guys. Appreciate you. This is The Ramsey Show. Hey, it's Rachel Cruz, co-host on The Ramsey Show. If you want to do your debt-free scream live on the show, visit RamseySolutions.com/debt-free scream. We'd love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story. That's RamseySolutions.com/debt-free scream. The headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio. It's The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I am Ramsey personality Rachel Cruz, sitting beside Ramsey personality and my co-host of the Smart Money Happy Hour, George Camel. We are here taking your calls. It's a free call anywhere in the country at 888-825-5225. So give us a call. We'll talk about your money, your life, your relationships, your jobs, anything and everything. You just give us a call. All right, starting us off this hour is Craig in St. Louis. Hey, Craig, welcome to the show.
How are you guys doing?
Doing great. How can we help?
Well, here's my issue. I'm baby steps 2, and we're going through the steps, and we're at the part of the program where we're at the smallest bill. And technically, our church had a capital campaign, and that we would contribute so much over the 5 years, and we're down to $38.50 on that, but that's zero interest on anything. And we got a payment plan of $150 per month for that till it's paid off. I'll basically have that if we stayed on that way, paid off in 2 years. But again, it's no interest. But I've got a truck payment that's $8,500, and that's the next step up. I've got 3 other credit cards, and I want to try and get all this stuff taken care of. But I wanted to know, I'm also a real estate agent, and I've got a transaction that's going to be coming out that could pay off a big chunk of the $8,500, or I could just totally pay off the church contribution. Which would you do?
Okay, it's a great question. Well, we teach, the debt snowball, and it's about paying your smallest debt off first to your largest, regardless of the interest rate. And so we're not really playing that, the interest rate game here. It's really about knocking out those smallest debts first, which are really important. Okay, you mentioned credit cards. How much was that again? Did you say 300?
No, I've got 3 credit cards.
3 credit cards. What are the balances on those?
2 are 12 and 1 is 15.
$15,000?
Yeah, 12,000 and 2 are 12,000 and 1 is 15,000.
Okay.
So total about 39 on those. Woo!
Right.
We've been living La Vida Loca, Craig. What have we been doing? What was the majority of the spending on those?
Just living life, and it just we finally hit to where we're done with it about 6-7 months ago, and we're just collecting on those. We've stopped using the cards, but we've just got to go through the steps and quit using them and pay them off.
Awesome.
And we're doing little by little.
That's great.
We're doing it, like I said, trying to go gazelle and fence on the smaller stuff, and it's working, but it's just
it's taking some time.
Just wanted to know which one you would do first.
For sure. Well, I would knock out the church first because it's the smallest, and then I'd be knocking out the truck next, and then hitting on that $12,000 card, the next $12,000, and then the $15,000.
Yeah, just stick to the debt snowball.
How much you guys make a year?
About $170,000.
Okay.
Love it. Great income to clean up this pile of debt. And
for sure.
How quickly do you think you'll do that with some gazelle intensity and doing the debt snowball?
We're also, our daughter is finishing up. She's got a year left in college, and we got a 529, and we've been paying cash for that. So we're anticipating probably to take anywhere from 2 to 4 years.
4 years?
I'm just kind of going up. That's how I think it would take.
Man, I just think making $170K, and if I'm adding up your debt correctly, if you told us everything, you got about $51,000 in debt?
I also have a mortgage still and an equity line, and I'm counting that in there too.
Oh.
How much is the equity line?
Equity line is 50.
50? Okay, so I would add that in your debt. I would add that into your debt snowball too, Craig, because if it's less than half of your annual income,
right,
I would add that as well.
So we're talking closer to $100K of debt outside of your mortgage.
Right.
And you can use. Are you using EveryDollar? Are you using the Debt Snowball app that we have?
We are following. I don't have the EveryDollar app, but we are definitely doing a budget, and we are definitely following, smallest to largest, and doing that way.
Sweet. Well, we want to gift that to you to help you along this journey. So hang on the line. Jen is going to pick up. We're going to gift you every dollar premium. It'll connect to your bank. It'll help you get an even better plan for every single dollar coming in. And along with that, we're going to gift you 1 year of Financial Peace University to motivate you, encourage you, equip you with some knowledge. It's one of the best ways to stay motivated. When you've got a big chunk of debt like that and you've got a 2-3 year slog ahead of you, I think this is really going to help. So watch it with your family, watch it with your wife, and man, call us back when you're debt-free. It's going to be a great story.
Yeah, and Craig, looking at these numbers and adding that extra $50,000, so yeah, it's bumping up to $101,000. Making $170,000 though, living on nothing. The joke around here is like rice and beans and rice. You don't go out to eat. You're not going on vacation. Like, you are doing nothing until this debt is cleaned up. And man, focusing so much on it, and then even saying, okay, what are the things that what are ways that we can cut our expenses and also make extra? Like, is there a period of 6 months where you say, all right, starting in January till May, we're going to be working extra jobs and seeing how much we can bring in, and then we're going to reevaluate? I mean, the more you sacrifice and the harder you work, the more hours you put in to be making money, the more to throw out this debt and the faster you'll get out. So Craig, I'm excited for you guys. I can hear it in your voice that you're like, we are done. We are done. And it's amazing what that sacrifice of getting out of debt, the baby step 2, how powerful it is. And you have, 3.5 years ahead of you. So it's going to be a marathon. It's not going to happen overnight, but we hear those stories all the time around here.
What's interesting, Rachel, I wonder, sometimes the high income earners, it's harder for them to do this plan because it involves a level of sacrifice where you have to swallow your pride. And you have to drive the crappier car, and you have to do the side job, and people are going, whoa, I thought they were doing great. I saw him delivering pizzas.
Yeah, yes.
Wow, and that hurts. And so for the high-income earners, sometimes our plan can be harder, in a sense, for them emotionally and mentally.
No, it's a great
Financially,
point.
It's great because you have a giant shovel.
That's right,
but it's hard because you have to live like no one else.
It's that emotional side of it. That's right. It's the humility to say, man, we screwed up, and we're going to do what we have to do to get out of this, regardless of what other people are thinking. And it sucks to be like, we're going to go backwards.
Well, the house of cards comes crumbling down. The life you thought you were actually living when it was really just on payments.
That's exactly
right. It was a facade.
Well, we're excited for you, Craig.
Way to go, man.
Remember, when you pay off those credit cards, cut them up, get rid of them. Don't let the temptation be laying around. This is The Ramsey Show.
Look, I love real estate, and I want you to have a house, but I don't want a house to have you. That's why you need to get in touch with Churchill Mortgage to make sure you do this right. These guys are awesome. They'll help you get on a smarter mortgage plan because they're committed to doing what's right for you. That means they check in every year with free consultations to help you stay on the right plan. They show you how to save money and interest so you can build wealth faster. They walk you through the total cost of your loan so you can make the best choice. Basically, they care. That's why we call them Ramsey Trusted. You can achieve debt-free home ownership, and Churchill is here to help. Go to their site, churchillmortgage.com/Ramsey, to start your approval or get more information.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I am Rachel Cruz, co-hosting today with George Camel. We're taking your calls at 888-825-5225 here on The Ramsey Show. Up next, we have Keith in Louisiana. Hey, Keith, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for taking my call.
Absolutely. How can we help?
Okay, so I just recently retired in February. I'm 62 years old, had a career for 42 years, and finally stepped down and retired. I followed y'all baby steps. I've been following y'all for about 5 years now, and followed the baby steps. I also went through SportVestor and got an advisor.
Good, yeah.
And went through that process. And I feel I'm on baby step 6 now. So my question is, still left with my house note. I still owe like $120,000 on my home. I don't have a big house note, but I still have that, let's say, monkey on my back, which is bothering me. So just trying to figure out what I should do to maybe pay it off.
Awesome. Well, I'm proud of you, man. That's incredible. So you found us 5 years ago, which was in your late 50s, right?
Correct.
I love that.
I was a slow starter, let's say. I had some issues getting started. We had Hurricane Katrina on the way and things like that.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you're an inspiration to many, Keith, because a lot of people go, well, I'm 57. What hope is there for me? It's too late. I'm like, 57, you still have a lot of life to live, and you decided it's not too late for me. I'm going to retire with dignity, and I want to pay my house off. So where are you at financially? Do you have money, a nest egg? Do you have retirement money?
I have a nest egg, and I have retirement money. It's generating monthly income.
Is it like a pension?
I have. I took the lump sum.
Okay.
Instead of a monthly pension.
So walk us through your kind of net worth.
Okay.
What's in the nest egg?
Currently, I have $1.7 million.
Amazing,
Awesome.
Keith.
And what's that in?
It's diversified. They have it in a little bit of everything. IRAs. I have my advisor. I'm not very good with this still after these years, but they have it diversified enough to where it's generating some money for me.
Well,
monthly.
no one mistakenly acquires $1.7 million, so you've done some really intentional stuff along the way. Have you talked to your advisor about the best strategy and use of this money? If there's Roth portions and there's traditional portions, what's best to use first if you were going to take some of this money and pay off the house?
Not yet. I haven't talked to her yet about it. We meet quarterly very often. Actually, she calls me, pretty often when things change and they move stuff around if they need to at the market.
Awesome.
But,
that's great. So, I would talk to her, Keith, because she's a SmartVestor Pro, so she's very familiar with the Ramsey baby steps. And so she'll know that, yes, you still have this $120,000 house payment or mortgage. But what's great, Keith, is it's just $120,000 compared to $1.7 million. So you are in.
But it's got me so nervous, though.
Yeah, I know. But I think you can pay it off very quickly. So I would recommend in the that next quarter, telling her that, because remember this always, regardless whether it's a SmartVestor Pro or you're using a tax professional, these people work for you, Keith. This is your money. That $1.7 million, you did that. This is your money. And she's there to advise you because she is in the ins and outs of the investment world. And so it's always good to have someone on your side like that. But what you're feeling is that urgency of I just want to get this paid off. And so pay it off. Tell her, I want this paid off. So what is the best way to get $120,000 right now to me so that I can get rid of this mortgage? Because financially, you are in a 1,000% great place to do that, Keith. And then you're able to let the rest of that 1.6, be able to continue to grow. And what a fabulous job, though, Keith. You've done a remarkable job. So congratulations, and I'm excited you'll have your house paid off ASAP.
Going into retirement.
And you're going to be able to enjoy. So congratulations. And again, that's a little bit of a shout out to our SmartVestor Pros. They are all over the country, you guys, and they are investment professionals that have the heart of a teacher, and they know the Ramsey baby steps. So they really do walk with people when it comes to your investing, because it's an intimidating part of your financial picture. When you're talking about Roth IRAs and 401ks and mutual funds, it's well, what's capital gains? When do I get taxed when it's, my income bracket? If I'm going to be moving And selling houses, like they are able to look at your entire financial picture and really, really help you with that side. And having people that's their job. It's the ins and outs. It's like what they eat and breathe every single day. It is so helpful.
Yeah, we both have SmartVestor Pros because I'm not in the ins and outs. I don't know what's happening in the industry, and they're thinking about things at a different level strategically. They're going, what if you move this over here and you could actually use this charitable deduction? And I'm going, oh, I had no idea. That's amazing. Right. And so they're so knowledgeable beyond just helping you, just choose an investment. You have to look at your bigger financial picture, your legacy, your net worth. What is the best use? How do I steward this really well? Strategically, and they know all of the ins and outs. They know the laws. They know the codes. I mean, it's incredible. So if you don't have one, go to RamseySolutions.com and go to Ramsey Recommends and connect with one in your area today. It gives you such peace and such confidence.
Absolutely. All right, up next we have Laura in Philadelphia. Hey, Laura, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
We're doing well. Thanks for calling.
Okay, so I'm 30 years old, so is my husband. Most of my 20s was spent spending money. And my poor husband, he is not a spender. When he does spend, he could spend big, but he doesn't. We're up to making $130,000 together a year before bonus. My question is, we sold our house this year, actually, and we moved back to state, and we paid off about $40,000 worth of debt.
Nice.
But,
congratulations.
Yes, it did take a big chunk off, but we still have $50,000 worth of consumer debt. Our one car is almost paid off. We have about $2,900 left on it. So I have that part of our snowball. My other car, we bought it brand new. It's a lease. My lease payment is almost $500 a month. I am sick and tired of it. I finally had my I had it moment. And I called the dealership. They will take it back. We are over miles. We still have a year left on the lease. And they would take it back and we wouldn't owe anything, but we wouldn't get anything out of it. So we would have to go buy a car in cash, and it would be, a day car. And I'm just really nervous because we do have a 2-year-old, and my husband was a mechanic. He's in a corporate office now in management, but he does have the tools. He does have the knowledge to fix a car.
Good.
What's the early buyout on it? Have you asked them?
So if I wanted to buy it out today, my residual value is right around $34,000.
Okay.
And that's pretty much what they're going to buy it back for.
So if you bought it from them, what would it cost? And if you could resell that after?
So that's what I'm scared of too, because I did think about that. It's a Toyota 4Runner, so it does, hold its value.
I've just been seeing that in the market as I've been following it, is people that give it back. It's the most money you can lose on a lease, which is already a terrible way to get a car. But if you did the buyout and then you sold that car, do you guys have the cash to do that?
So no, and that's why I was very scared to do that. I didn't want to buy it out and get into a larger finance payment and then get stuck with it and not be able to sell it.
Yeah, this may just be one of those stupid tax scenarios where you go, never again. That was a dumb move, and it hurt, and I don't want to feel that pain again. So you may just need to give it back at that point and get you a used car with cash that you can fix up for now until you're out of debt, and then we can upgrade later. Making $130, you guys are going to get out of this thing fast and upgrade. So we're rooting for you. Way to go.
If you're looking for ways to update your home without blowing the budget, I've got it. For years, I've been telling you about our friends at Blinds.com. Blinds.com makes it simple to shop top quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping. With Blinds.com, there's no need to renovate your entire home. Just change out what's on your windows with upscale choices like faux wood blinds, cellular and roller shades, or even outdoor shades. Plus, Blinds.com guarantees the perfect fit, whether you do it yourself or you have them measure and install everything for you. Shop their latest looks and see how much you can save at Blinds.com today. The easy and affordable way to make your home more beautiful is Blinds.com.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. We are taking your calls at 888-825-5225. And today's question comes from Blinds.com. Blinds.com 100% satisfaction guarantee means even if you mismeasure or pick the wrong color, they'll remake your blinds for free. You get free samples, free shipping, and with the new promos they run every month, you'll save even more. Use promo code Ramsey to get the best deal.
Today's question comes from Meredith in Wisconsin. I'm 27 years old and trying my best to do the baby steps so I can buy a house with as little debt as possible. But I feel like in today's market, it's nearly impossible to find a decent house that's affordable. How can I accelerate my savings to buy the house I really want that's currently outside of my budget? This is a tough one, Rachel. There's a lot of people, especially in their 20s and 30s, frustrated right now with how the housing market has been the last few years. And with wages not increasing at that rate, they're going, this isn't fair. Now the average house is $400,000 and I'm making 30, 40, 50. How am I ever going to save up a down payment in order to get the house that I really want?
Yep. Well, I think that's the phrase there. It's what I want, right? And so it's not always about what you want. It's what you can afford, even if it's not a lot. And it does. Like it sucks that you look back and you're like, if in 2019 it was a different world, and here we are in 2022, and it's not that prices have, significantly dropped. It's slowed down. The market has, which is great for buyers. You have a little bit more room for negotiation and all of that, but it's still, a lot of places have still held that value even when it spiked up. So, I feel like I'm going to sound cold, George.
No.
Usually that's your role.
Usually it's me. I'm very happy
usually
about this.
Usually you're the one to do this.
Take note, America.
But I'm like, but what sucks is like math doesn't care.
Heartless,
Math
Rachel.
doesn't have emotion. And so we can sit and complain about it because it does suck. Like, I mean, yeah. But if you just sit there and complain, then what else are you going to do? So you have to be able to say, okay, here's the reality. Here's the reality. I'm not going to be able to buy in that county that I wanted to right now. I'm going to have to, go 20 minutes further out than I was expecting to get that kind of house. Or I'm going to have to stay in the area I want to buy in, but my house is going to be significantly smaller than what I was expecting. And so, again, that's not fun. None of it. You want it. You want what you want. But when the numbers aren't there, you have to deal with, okay, where are the numbers playing out for me if I really want to buy a home? And I mean, it's not fun, but that's the truth. That's what you have to do, because it's not going to be a great thing. Being a homeowner, it's wonderful. And we want everyone eventually to, because it's a really smart place to put your money financially. But it also is so emotionally driven sometimes for people that they jump in without, doing the due diligence of having a secure foundation of not having payments, not having debt, having an emergency fund, being wise as they get into it, making sure, again, even what they're buying isn't out of their budget. And it's hard, but it's what you got to do now.
Oh, yeah. It makes me think of that old adage, cheap, fast, or good. You can only choose two.
Oh.
If you want it cheap and fast, we can do that, but it won't be good.
That's good.
And so there's a level that you have to compromise, sliding scales when it comes to housing of, all right, I really want that house. Either it's going to take more time to get the house that I want, or I can do it faster, but I'm going to have to go 30 minutes into the next county, and it might be a condo instead of the single-family home.
Right.
And it might need a few upgrades that I have to make a few years from now because it doesn't have the kitchen that I wanted with the backsplash. And so we talked about this on Smart Money Happy Hour in our first episode about how HGTV ruined a generation.
They ruined our lives.
Because the
Showed us
expectations
how
are just...
great houses could look like.
Yeah, and now we're like, everyone hated their house after watching Chip and Jo make a house beautiful.
I know.
Like, I want to do that. And so there's a level of patience that we need, resetting expectations, and on top of that, she's asking, how do I accelerate my savings? And me and my wife, we did this when buying our first home, which the Nashville area is super expensive. We live in one of the wealthiest counties in the nation here in Williamson County, Tennessee, and we decided, all right, we're going to get a townhome for our first home. We don't need a giant single-family home for just the two of us.
Yep.
And so we did that. We increased our income. I was taking on side jobs. I was building websites. I was hosting outside events. I was doing all kinds of things just to bring in extra income to save up for that down payment. We did no spend months. We cut a lot of luxuries and subscriptions and things that we would have loved to do as a newlywed couple, but we went, you know what? The house is a priority over that vacation. And those are the kinds of things you have to really grapple with in order to have the things you want.
Yep, for sure. You know, it took Winston and I close to a decade, almost 10 years, to get to the point that we're like, okay, we're going to upgrade to the next home. And it was a long goal. It was a long goal that we knew. And even toward the end, we weren't quite where we wanted. So yeah, we were cutting stuff. I was taking on any kind of speaking thing I could. Yeah. I was saying yes to everything. So
there's a kind of gazelle intensity to it.
Of that. Yes. Toward the end, which was great because we needed it and that's what we wanted. That was our goal. But here's the thing too, George, is it's not worth having a home. It feel, for someone that's looking, mostly for your first-time home buyers. Again, we want you to get to that place where you can own a home because it's just smart financially. But it looks so glamorous from the outside, and when people make a bad financial move into something they can't afford, I would say the mental health, the stress, the anxiety, it offsets what you thought this house was going to be and how great it was. It's like, oh my gosh, I would rather go back to where we were and rent and not have the stress that we have now. And so there's a give and take there when you go and you move into something you can't afford. It doesn't create a glamorous experience.
Here's the big takeaway. You can tweet this, Rachel.
Thank you, George.
Home ownership is not the antidote to your lack of happiness. It's not.
Wow.
It's not going to be there because home ownership has a lot of costs. And on top of that, most people that do it prematurely, they're also in debt in other areas. And so now you have the car payment, you have the student loans, you have the credit cards, you have your buy now, pay later.
And then let me say this on the emotional contentment side, George. You take you with you into the new house too.
Wow. Rachel is ice cold today, and we love to see it.
And there's something about it because I went through this too, where I was like, I just want a different kitchen. Life would just be better if we had a bigger kitchen. I had all these thoughts.
No, life would be better if you went to therapy and got control of your marriage. How about that, America?
And so then I look at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, but like your life, it's still you moving in, even if it's a bigger kitchen. It's still all that discontentment that you have in other parts of your life too. So it's not the end all be all.
Well, Rachel, there's a hilarious TikTok out there that I think sums up the frustration that America's feeling. Do you want to see it?
I would love to see it.
Okay, let's roll that.
How is any young person ever going to own a home? It's made me hate old people. I see a few of you in here tonight. I hate you. Because every old person in a city like LA or New York or London is the same. They're like, my house is worth $2 million, but when I bought it in 1981, I paid 11 raspberries for it. And every young person's like, I have 9 roommates! We each pay $11,000 a month. Every single one of us is a lawyer except for Ted. And every single old person's like, I'm a librarian with a home at the beach.
Oh my goodness. While an exaggeration, that is hilarious.
That is funny because there's some truth to that. Yes.
Well, a lot of the pressure is coming from parents who, by the way, raise their kids to go follow your passions at all costs and go $300,000 into student loan debt. And then they're like, why aren't you married? Why don't you have a house yet? Where are the grandkids? Give us and they're like, dude, I can't even breathe. I can't get to next week. let alone buy a house. And so this doesn't just fall. This is not to blame a generation. This is to go, listen, we've made some mistakes. We have to accept responsibility, and we have to accept the reality that home prices are insane. Now what are we going to do?
That's right.
What's next?
And having options. That's another thing. You know, and you can add college on top of this, the tuition, how insane it's gotten. I mean, all of it. So all this stuff has. And so what it does, it forces you to look and say, okay, what is the wisest route? Because it's not just like, oh, you have to own a home tomorrow or you have to go get a college degree, right? Like it's not that black and white anymore. It's like, okay, what can I afford in this moment? Where do I want to be in 5 years, right? And so working towards something as well.
Yes.
But it is.
And it starts with,
hard.
Guess what? I have to get out of debt first and have an emergency fund and then save up the down payment. And yes, that might be 3, 4, 5, 6 years from now. But when you get there, you're going to have a peace about it. You did it with intentionality. No regrets. Right, Rachel?
George.
It will never die.
God bless you. God bless you, my friends.
Good stuff.
All right, this is The Ramsey Show. Paying off debt is smart. Investing and saving is smart. But there's one key to winning with money that people overlook all the time, and that's protecting your finances from emergencies. And that's where insurance comes into play. So now there are about 10 different kinds of insurance coverage that you might need based on what your life looks like today. So we built a tool called Coverage Checkup to show you which types that you need to add, drop, or adjust. We'll even rank your coverage list by importance, email it to you, and connect you with a Ramsey trusted insurance provider so that you can you can put a plan in place fast. And seriously, you guys, it takes 5 minutes, and it might be the most important 5 minutes that you spend today. Donald H. wrote in and said, for anyone who has not completed this checkup, do it now. You never know when something will happen, and you never want to leave your family in a bad situation. That's exactly right. So visit RamseySolutions.com/checkup. That's RamseySolutions.com/checkup. And don't let an emergency sneak up on you. Protect your family now. Yeah, insurance is a important part of this, George.
It's offense and defense. You don't need to know a lot about sports to understand that metaphor, but you can build wealth, but keeping it and protecting it is a whole other ballgame. I'm
so proud that you use sports analogy, George.
Well, with your Tennessee Vols doing well, Rachel,
I know.
I decided to learn. So you gave me some spark notes earlier. During the break.
I did. About the top 4 teams, can Tennessee make it to the SEC championship? Even if they lose Georgia? Possibly. We'll see. All right, we're taking your calls at 888-825-5225. And up next is Dustin in Pittsburgh. Hey, Dustin, welcome to the show.
Thanks, guys. Great job on the Smart Money Happy Hour podcast.
Oh, thanks, Dustin.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, so I've got a question about where I'm at in the baby steps and whether or not I should continue to be Gazelle Intense and contribute to the match in my 401k at work while I'm doing these steps. And they're kind of falling between baby steps 3 and 4. So I'm 24 years old. I'm on baby step 3, and I'm probably going to finish off my 3-month emergency fund by the end of this year.
Cool.
So my next few goals are to buy out my car lease, and that will take roughly 1 year of saving. The second goal would be to buy some rings and marry my girlfriend. We're going through FPU together. We're halfway through.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thanks. And then down payment on a house. So what do you guys think about how I reach those goals, like what intensity level we should be at, and whether I should invest or not up to the match at work?
Well, you're on a great path, and you mentioned you've got the car lease, which would technically put you in baby step 2. And so do you know the early buyout amount of that car?
Yeah, I'm halfway through the lease, and I would say it's probably another $3,000 or $4,000 if I don't buy it out with cash.
That's the only caveat on these plans. Because other than that, baby step 3 and 3B into 4, it's kind of a choose your own adventure based on your goals, where you're at. If you want to invest 15% once you have the fully funded emergency fund while saving up the down payment, it's going to take longer, but that's a great option. If you want to split the difference and go, I'm going to invest in the match, and then the rest I'm going to save for the down payment, you can also do that. Some people go scorched earth and go, I'm not going to invest at all, and I'm going to save up this down payment really fast. So there's kind of 3 buckets you can choose in that regard.
Okay. So what about the car lease? I was planning on saving up for 1 year to buy it out. It's about $16,000 residual value.
How much do you make, Dustin?
Starting next year, assuming a 4% raise, around $70,000 a year.
Okay.
And what's the car worth?
Whenever I went in to lease it, it was worth, I'd say, like $21,000, $22,000.
Okay, so it'll probably be around 16, 17 by the time you would do the early buyout?
Yeah, 16,000.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's not too much of your world if you like the car and you want to keep it at that point. Is that the plan?
Yep. Yeah, nothing but compliments on it. And I did the math, figured out it'll only be like a quarter of my take-home pay or the gross pay anyway. So yeah, it's not like it's a crazy vehicle.
Okay. Are you saying the payment?
Oh no, the total value of the car, like the 16 divided by the 70, would only be like a quarter or a third.
Oh, got it. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, if you went that route, Dustin, then obviously you said it'll take you a year to save that amount. And then how much do you want to spend on a ring?
I was thinking about $5,000 for the ring and leaning towards the conventional wedding cost around like, $20,000 or under.
Are you guys paying for the wedding?
Yeah, we haven't talked to our families yet about it, but we've been together for 5 years and, would like to get married within the next 2.
Okay, that's great.
All sounds reasonable on that end.
Yeah, I mean, you're just this car lease, which I hate for you. I'm like, man.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I used to keep my car payment low while I was paying off my student loans. That I knocked out in August, but now, I'm facing down another big expense saving up to buy it out.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, so I would do it in that order. I would be the ring in the car, obviously, and then what you guys can pull together cash-wise for the wedding. Because your life is going to look so different in 2 years. And because of your age and everything, obviously investing is very important. And the earlier you start, the better off you are. But I wouldn't lose sleep over, not doing that for 2 years because of where you're at. You just have a lot of life change. It's going to cost money to do a lot of this stuff. And so I just want you to have the cash for it. So prioritizing it. Yeah. So the car and the ring.
But I would pause investing until you are out of that lease and you have the fully funded emergency fund.
Yeah. I would not be investing, Dustin, until you have the emergency fund. Like George said, and the car is yours, the ring, and you guys are well on your way saving for the wedding. So if that's a pause on investing for 2 years, then that's probably what it's going to be.
And you're young. You got plenty of time to do that. And I personally like the fire it lights under you to go, man, I'm missing out on that free money in the match. I'm missing out on compound growth. And that's going to actually propel you to do the other steps. The problem is people get comfortable because they go, well, I'm investing a little bit. I'm saving a little bit. I'm paying off a little bit of debt.
Yep.
I'm good. But the problem is you don't really make progress in any of those areas because of that.
That's right.
So thanks for the question, Dustin. Appreciate it.
Yep. All right, up next we have Sean in San Antonio. Hey, Sean, welcome to the show.
Hey, Rachel. Hey, George. How are you guys?
We're doing great. How can we help?
It's so nice to talk to you guys. I'm extremely nervous, but at the same time, excited. So I have a mortgage question. I would like to pay off my house just to basically have more peace in my life. I have the means to do so, and it wouldn't take me all the way down. I would still have my emergency fund plus some. I also have a 3-year-old son. My fiance is in school full time for 1 more year. She's going into her senior year, and then we're going to move. So my son is in a better school district. So I don't know if I should keep liquid cash or just get the money back when I sell.
Okay, so when you sell, when you guys move from, your home. Okay, so how much do you have left on your mortgage?
$95,000.
$95,000. Okay, and how much do you have in above your emergency fund?
I would say above my emergency fund, like 110. So I have 135 liquid.
Okay.
So that would leave a decent emergency fund on top of that.
Okay. Awesome. I mean,
I'm 28 years old. I'm self-employed. I'm gazelle intense. I listen to Smart Money Happy Hour, and I've just listened to Dave for the past couple of years. I've tried my hardest to follow by y'all's, principles, but it's hard sometimes. But I'm gazelle intense.
Yeah. Well, you're doing a great job, Sean. I mean, the numbers you just gave us, and I'm assuming you have no consumer debt. This mortgage is the last thing. So yeah,
That's it. I've never had any debt in my life besides this mortgage. I've had it since I was 19, and it's just one of those things that I just want out of my life. But I know when we move, we'll probably end up getting a bigger house just because that's just the way it's going to go.
Well, here's what you do, Sean. Get the final payoff amount from the mortgage lender, and you're going to wire that money and be debt-free by tomorrow. And then until you move, just stack up cash on top of that so that when you do move, you have all the proceeds from your home sale plus this other stack of cash. Man, you guys are going to be set up.
A great spot. And don't combine those finances until after you're married, Sean. I know you said that we're engaged, so be saving for that wedding, too. You guys get married.
That's right.
And that's so exciting, Sean. Well done.
So cool.
Hard work has paid off. Well, thank you, George, for a great hour. Thanks to you, all you guys in the booth, and thank you, America, for listening. This is The Ramsey Show.
Do you love a good Dave Rant? Want to see the latest Ramsey Show videos going viral? Check out your favorite moments from The Ramsey Show on YouTube. Go watch and subscribe to The Ramsey Show channel on YouTube.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio, it's The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I am Rachel Cruz, hosting today with Ramsey personality and co-host of the Smart Money Happy Hour, George Hamill. So it's a free call anywhere in the country at 888-825-5225. All right, starting us off this hour is Tamara in San Diego. Hey, Tamara, welcome to the show.
Hi. Yes, this is me, Tamara Simmons. I'm a college student. I go to Gracemont Community College.
Oh,
and
great.
Sorry about that. I'm kind of nervous because I watch you guys show, all the time. Just
we appreciate that.
We're so glad you called today.
Wow, you act like you just won a game show.
All right.
I love it. Love the energy. What's your question? How can we help?
Okay, so I'm in $6,000 in credit card debt with Navy Federal with the green card, but I have a student grant that's coming in that's like $4,000. The only thing is I'm a caregiver nurse. And so I had got ill from COVID and scabies. So my payments of, getting paid went down the drain.
Okay.
I'm sorry, you guys. I'm kind of nervous.
No,
that's all right. So you couldn't work. You couldn't work because you were sick, which means you missed a few paychecks?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you working now?
It's really hard to get back into that field because I don't have a consistent client.
Okay.
So it's only fill-ins.
Okay.
Is there any other kind of nursing you can do?
I applied for other jobs, but since it's the COVID vaccination shot, since it's the COVID vaccination, I'm have allergic reactions.
Oh, so you can't get the vaccine, which means they won't hire you.
Which is probably going to be a hard industry to be in, Tamara. Is there? How are you paying your bills right now? Are you making any kind of income?
So, as in for right now, I do DoorDash, but I only can make like $250 a night for DoorDash. But that causes a lot of problems to the car.
Okay.
And I already bought like 3 cars in the past, and I know how that goes with cars.
How much money
So
do you
I'm
have in
trying
the
to-
bank?
So what I have in the bank right now is about like $30. But
Oh,
I know
wow.
my student grant is gonna come. I've been maintaining stuff. I still have a phone bill I have to pay. I still have SD&G I have to pay. So I kind of been paying little stuff with DoorDash.
And when do you
Other
get
than
this? When do you get the grant? The $4,000?
They told me next week.
Okay. So yeah, I would hang on, keep doing, the DoorDash, whatever you can to continue to just keep your head above water until you get that grant. And then you're going to have, plan B happening really soon, Tamara, because that $4,000, it's going to go rather quickly. And so being able to say, okay, nursing in the medical field, not having the vaccination, I'm assuming, I'm not a medical professional, is going to be
It's going to hurt your chances of finding any employment in that field.
So if there's something else that you're passionate about, and to be able to do something on the side, but I think while in school, picking up these side hustles is going to be your best bet. And even if it's, house sitting, dog sitting, yes, the DoorDash, the Instacarts, all of that until you're out of school, and then finding something, and even if may not be in the medical field, George, but I'm like, even getting a entry level, assistant job, or because you said you were a caregiver, Tamara, so maybe you're really great at helping and serving people, and it could be more in a office setting versus a medical setting. But really finding that is gonna be huge, and that $6,000 of debt that you're gonna start to work to pay off. And so that's kind of
cut up
the
those
plan.
cards, please. Don't even give yourself the option of going further into debt.
That's right. All right, up next we have Alex in Indianapolis. Hey, Alex, welcome to the show.
Hey, Rachel, George. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we can. How can we help?
Hey, so I'll try to keep it brief. I'm 33, and I just started a new job, and I'm trying to figure out what to do with my money in my 401k from my old job. So I have about $430,000 in a brokerage account, kind of a bridge fund I was saving up for, $200 in my Roth IRA, and about $200 left from my old employer 401k. So I had not known that I was going to get a job right away, so I saved up about an extra $70,000 as kind of a bridge fund until I found a job, or if I wanted to take a little sabbatical or something. So I'm trying to figure out if I should either, one, invest or move the pre-tax 401k, that $200,000, into my Roth IRA and pay the taxes with that $70,000, or if I should just invest it and keep going into my brokerage fund, kind of that bridge fund I'm developing now, which will eventually probably be a house fund.
Where are you at in the baby steps? Do you have any debt?
No, I'm in baby step 7. I haven't had debt for
awesome.
My whole
What
life,
do you
really.
do, Alex?
I'm an engineer.
Amazing.
I worked at my previous company for about 10 years, and they started a Roth 401k about halfway through. So half my money I've already kind of moved out of that 401k. It's the pre-tax stuff that wasn't Roth in that first 5 years that I was working there.
Yeah, I mean, we would tell people, don't do the Roth rollover because of the tax burden until you're at baby step 7. But if you've got a paid-for house and you've got the money to cover the tax burden on that, that could be a great option to do a direct rollover. I would not cash it out and invest that money because that will create a whole new set of tax burden that I don't want you to experience because of all the penalties there. So if you do a direct rollover, you'll avoid all of that.
But you'll pay for the taxes, but you have that $70,000 to cover it.
Yeah, and that's, and so I don't own a house yet, and that's what that 430 is going to probably turn into once I get to and so that's kind of where, that's why, I'm chunking. Oh, go ahead.
If you don't have a house, I would personally just do a direct rollover to a traditional IRA.
Okay.
Instead of the Roth, because that
$70,000
And keep that for the house, for a down payment on the house.
Yeah, I would use that bridge and brokerage outside of an emergency fund. I would use all the liquid cash you have that's non-retirement towards that house. And if you can pay cash, man, you're crushing it. I mean, how cool would it be if you could just pay cash for your first home?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm not going to be in a location where I'm going to stay for another 2 years. My fiance, she's finishing her fellowship, and I know we're going to move after that. So
sweet.
That's great.
So at 35, you keep stacking up cash. You pay cash for your first home. You're already a millionaire, but definitely do the direct rollover to avoid any taxes in the situation to the traditional IRA.
And get the real estate. Get that first house with
and
that
I'd
extra
be working,
money.
if you don't have a financial advisor already, a SmartVestor Pro, go connect with one at RamseySolutions.com. A guy of, with where you're at financially, you're going to be ultra wealthy, and we want to make sure that you are a great steward of what you're building, man.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Great job, Alex. Great job. Thanks for calling. This is The Ramsey Show.
Life is full of firsts. As the first and longest-serving Christian health cost-sharing ministry, CHM has shared medical expenses for its members since 1981. We believe you should have the freedom to focus on your health while being supported by a community of believers, giving you the opportunity to create many more firsts.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. We're taking your calls at 888-825-5225. So, George, normally I am very prepared for this show, and anything that's thrown my way besides the callers, I'm on the ball. But this, I am not.
Yes,
So I'm really on the edge of my seat for what's about to happen.
A minimum of like 47 people have sent me this video being like, we need you guys to react to this video. We need your thoughts on this. Is this true? What's your take? And so Rachel has not seen this. I have seen it, and we're going to get Rachel's kind of blind reaction here. Are you ready for this? I'm not even going to set it up.
I don't even know what's about to happen. So if it's a Friends clip, I'll probably quote it.
It is
if
not.
It's a quote from Notting Hill, I'm probably going to know the scene. I don't know.
It's
so go ahead.
Hot money advice from social media.
Oh, okay.
Get ready.
Rich people help their kids get perfect credit scores long before those kiddos can apply for their own credit card. And it's not even that complicated. I can explain it to you. I'm Vivian, your rich BFF, and your favorite Wall Street girlie who you follow for all the money secrets. As soon as my kid is born, I'm going to set them up as an authorized user on my credit card. As you can see, with the exception of Discover and American Express, most of these credit card issuers don't have a minimum age requirement. This means I will be issued a credit card with their name on it, but I'll be responsible for paying the bill. And you're probably wondering, what does a baby need a credit card for? They don't. Instead of giving the card to them, I'm either going to cut it or I'm just going to put it in a safe location. I will then proceed to make on-time payments on my credit card bill every single month. By doing so, I'll start building good credit for my kid, allowing them to leech onto my good credit. By the time they finish high school, they'll have built a credit history of 18 years and have a score in the high 700s or even 800s. This will help them rent their first apartment or qualify for a great credit card of their own.
Oh my gosh, you know what I just went to, y'all? What if someone watches that on Instagram and they're terrible with money, they put their kid in this situation and they don't pay their bills on time? Does that mean you just screwed your kid's financial future? Like,
ding, 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 ding.
That is so scary to me. Vivian, I've seen her videos and she does have some great videos. I have seen her. She's some stuff she does.
Sharp
yes,
young lady.
But we don't agree, the debt thing, which we don't agree with like anyone on social media because I feel like we're the only ones that talk about being debt free for the most part. So I don't agree with all that, but like that's scary to put that out there and trust the American culture who has like average $15,000 of credit
But Rachel,
card debt.
this is what the wealthy do. Okay, this is what the true rich are doing to set their kids up for success.
That literally gave me anxiety. I don't have anxiety. I don't really like anxiety's not my thing, but I just had it. Like, that makes me so sad for kids. Like,
can I tell you, Rachel?
Like anytime I don't trust it, and the fact that, yes. Okay, hold on. I have so many thoughts. Okay.
Okay, hit us.
And then B is like, you don't need a credit score, right? Like our thing is like, you shouldn't have a credit card anyways. You don't need a credit score. Don't be like trying to like rig the system to get a good credit score, because listen, teach your kid to pay for everything with cash, and then when they want a home, they can do manual underwriting and they're fine. So it's unnecessary, number one, or number two. But number one, she's advising people that most of America's terrible with their credit cards, so like they're going to screw their kids, right? Like
Yes.
is that am I
You just solved the problem, Rachel. I went to the comment section, and the very first comment was like, my parents did this to me, and they tanked my credit score by the time I was 18 because they mismanaged money, and now it screwed me over.
Okay, here's a question. I probably shouldn't even get into this, wade in this water, because I don't know. But like I have known two people, not like really close friends, but enough that they've like shared this with me, that their identity was stolen from an aunt and uncle that raised them.
Oh.
And the uncle took right. And I know that this is not stealing your identity, but it is weird that you can put someone's name, on the account.
User.
Yeah, but like, I don't know.
It creates a whole bunch of future and potential problems. And on paper, she's going, well, yeah, if you do it perfectly, it could work out great for your kid. But there's a much higher probability that you're going to hurt your kid financially 18 years from now. And that creates resentment. And they go, thanks, Mom and Dad.
Oh, I would be pissed if I turned 18 and my parents were like, sorry, we tried to help you, but we got behind here and there, and now you got to dig yourself out of this hole with this credit score because you have a really bad one, even though you've done nothing to it. You didn't. Do you know how that's?
It's frightening.
That is.
And you talk about how to actually raise your kids when it comes to money in Smart Money, Smart Kids. And there's a lot of simple things you can do that don't involve opening a credit card for a baby. What are we doing, America?
I know. Oh, that's so scary. I know. So we talk about it a lot on this show, but you can try to kind of like beat the system and figure out how to do this, that, and that to win. But when it comes down to it, it is your behavior. What you choose to do with money is how you're going to win. And I think one of the gifts parents can give their kids is teach them how do you handle money, and actually show them, hey, you have to work. We're doing this with our kids, or the two girls at least. Charles he's
Sweet
3
Charles.
and he just probably will never. I'll probably just give him money all the time.
He's not already
Boys
invested in the market?
There's just something in my heart about Charles. I'll be like, you can just stay with me forever. But the girls were like, okay, you got to do, Caroline's 5 now. So they're doing chores, and they understand, okay, if I work and do this, and this, that we've very much communicated, then
money
you get
comes from
money.
work.
And they're at the young age where now they're not saving up for anything. They're 5 and 7. So we get to go to Target or a toy store here in Nashville, and they get to spend some of their money in a few weeks, and they love it, and it's great. And then as they get older, you start to teach them, okay, now that you know where money comes from, it comes from work. Now we're going to give, we're going to save, and we're going to spend. Here are 3 things that you can do with money. And under our roof, you're going to practice these things. You're going to make mistakes, and we're going to allow you to make mistakes, and that's great. You're going to get some victories and a little bit of this like dignity of, oh wow, I did that, and you can start to see progress. It's that behavior that you want to instill with your kids, because that's what gives them the dignity when they leave home at 18. That they get to go and win because they have the knowledge. And that's my story. People think that, some people do, I guess. Everyone's like, well, you guys are good with money because your dad just gives you money. I'm like, you think Dave Ramsey like sends me secret checks in the mail? That would be awesome. If he did, that would be great. He doesn't. But the gift that they gave us as kids is like understanding how to do this stuff at 18. And so thank God, we were able to avoid debt and know how to budget, know how to save. And we're not perfect with money, but learning those basics, you get to start that at 18, which is a gift, where a lot of people start, 30s, 40s, 50s, even 60s.
Because they're way in the hole.
Yeah, because, they didn't know this stuff. But man, that's the gift you want to give your kids, not trying to like finagle this debt playing industry and how to work it. And like, no, give them the knowledge and the experience, and that's what will take them places.
Absolutely. So I covered the whole debunking all the credit score myths that she's talking about. You need a credit score to rent an apartment. You need a credit score. And it's just not true. And I'm just tired of us perpetuating these myths that cause people to go into debt, which, by the way, is the only way to create a credit score and maintain one, is to do that and pay it off perfectly. Every single factor has to do with debt. And the problem here is that it doesn't set your kid up for financial success. They can still be in a pile of debt when they graduate college. because they have their great credit score.
Right.
So if you want to set them up, set up a 529 or an ESA when they're born, and do that for 18 years.
Now
and
that's
invest in it.
right, that they can go to school and pay for it because of, yes, that's
and
right.
help them start to do a budget and show them how to manage their money wisely as they get their first job, and show them that not having debt sets you up. And as we see these new generations come up, I think we're going to see that where they go, oh gosh, they're stressed out because they have all these student loans. I don't want one of those.
Yes.
No, thank you.
Well, there was an article that I read a few weeks ago, and they talked about that even within Gen Z. A lot, there's like, every generation I know has, the good eggs and the bad eggs in the bunch, but how they're interviewing a couple of them. They said, well, I'm watching my older siblings, millennials, graduate, with 6 figures of debt. They're stressed out because of what's going on when, the COVID shutdown happened. They didn't have savings, and they're like, I don't want to be that.
Yes.
And so there is a little bit of that rebellion of like, whatever that system was that the millennials and the Gen Y and the boomers were trying to play, like, I don't want to do that.
Well,
so
Rachel,
learn. That's great.
We just did a whole episode on Smart Money Happy Hour called Scroll with Caution, How to Spot Bad Money Advice on Social Media. So go check that out wherever you listen to podcasts. Smart Money Happy Hour just released yesterday, and we do a lot of reacts to a lot of money advice out there. Some hot takes and a lot of laughs.
Man, yeah, make sure to check that out. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I am Rachel Cruz, co-hosting today with the one and only George Camel.
Wow. There's a lot of George Camels out there.
You are the one and only, George. The one and only.
Well, guys, there's nothing I love more than spending Dave's money and giving it to you this time of year, no questions asked. And I still get to keep my job at the end of it. And that is exactly what happens with the Ramsey Christmas Cash Giveaway. It is back, and you could win one of our weekly $500 prizes or the grand prize, $5,000. No, it's no Powerball, but you got a much better chance of winning this one than the Powerball. And you don't have to spend a dime. Think about what having that extra cash in your budget could do. You could buy a George Camel portrait to hang in your foyer. You like that, Rachel?
Foyer.
You could use it to buy Christmas gifts. You could pay off your smallest debt and get started on that debt snowball. So if you want to enter this giveaway, just go to RamseySolutions.com/giveaway. You can enter every single day to increase your chances of winning. No purchase necessary, but hey, sorry kids, if you're under 18, you cannot enter.
Oh, man.
But hey, tell your parents to do it. That's great. RamseySolutions.com/giveaway, and we're just getting started with the cash giveaway. That's right, we go all out for Christmas. We're putting our best-selling books and tools on sale for as low as $10. That's right. We have somehow overcome inflation, Rachel. It's not the $11 sale. It's the $10 sale. So find the perfect gift for literally everyone on your list, like Dave's book, Baby Steps Millionaires, Ken Coleman's book, From Paycheck to Purpose, Dr. John Deloney's Questions for Humans conversation cards, all new to the $10 sale. And Rachel, if you go to the store right now, you'll notice there's a new item in there.
Oh.
Merch.
We've never had this at Ramsey, and
Never.
It's here.
I've been waiting for it because I see like shirts on Etsy that are terribly designed with our stuff on it. I'm like, oh, we could do it better than that.
And what do you have, George,
And
right now?
I'm
For
currently wearing
all those watching on YouTube can see
Live
this.
Like No One Else t-shirt. It's very rock and roll.
It is very cool.
Sporting it with a denim jacket, and it's super soft and comfortable.
And the detail is beautiful on it. We can just go like fashion blogger on it.
Oh my gosh. But it is fun. And so the team, they gave me one of these because I love free stuff. And so it's not free for you, America, but it is. It's up there on the store. So if you want some merch, it's a great gift this Christmas for people who have been following the plan.
Yeah.
And you want to celebrate, and it's a great conversation starter at the grocery store. They're like, what does that mean?
Live like no one else.
It's a great way to do that. RamseySolutions.com. You can shop our biggest $10 sale yet and enter the cash giveaway.
All right, up next, we have David in Philadelphia. Hey, David, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Rachel and George, for having me on. And George, I want to start by saying I like free stuff too.
Yes.
But I got an interesting situation here to get your opinion on. My parents have had timeshares for over 40 years, and one of the sales pitches is you can pass it on to your kids. Well, do I have to take them?
No.
Can you turn down an inheritance? And for that matter, could they rewrite a will and give it to the salesman that sold it to them in the first place?
Put it right back in their pocket.
Yeah, you definitely do not have to accept a timeshare. And the good news is it's not even an asset. And so it's not like you're inheriting an asset. You have a sense of ownership. That's what you're being sold with a timeshare. And it is not a gift. It is not even free. There are crazy, crazy costs, as you probably know, associated with timeshares, and it goes up every year intentionally to make them more money and make you more broke and have you stuck at the same crappy rental that your parents had for 40 years.
Sure. So is there a good way to get out of one for my mom at this point? She's looked into a couple of the services, and some of the reviews we're seeing people talk about that they're being told not to pay the maintenance fees, and it's ruining their credit scores. Not that we're worried about credit scores, but it just seems like it's almost as bad of a thing to get out of as it is to get into.
Oh, it is. It feels almost impossible to get out of. So yeah, there are some companies that do it, but you want to be very specific on which ones, because I think there's some terrible ones out there. But there are some that do. So I would look at really investigating those, calling them. I guess you could look at the reviews too, but finding a certified one that actually has progress and has testimonies of people record. that they've helped. But it's hard. That's what sucks about timeshares. Once you get in them, it feels like nearly impossible to get out. It's not easy.
And if you need convincing of this, go to eBay and go to sold and completed listings and search timeshare, and you will see timeshares being sold for 99 cents.
Yeah, it's kind of like the quicksand on Gilligan's Island. You just can't get out of it once
exactly.
you get into it.
So do not accept this under any circumstances. Just say no thanks, Tom Hanks, to your parents and say, I appreciate that, but this is an investment, and I'm not prepared to take on this investment because there was a lot of fees associated with it. And if it has to die with them, I'm okay with that.
All right, up next, we have Dave in L.A., Los Angeles. Hey, Dave, welcome to the show.
Hi, Rachel. Hey, George. Thank you for taking my call. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. How can we help?
So I just took a job offer that it was a $16K pay cut, and I'm kind of thinking whether or not I should talk to them again and tell them, hey, I'm actually going to change my mind. The only reason is because the only reason I took the job was because it's actually my dream job. And but the only thing that I'm thinking about now is that I still have school debt and some credit card debt that I used for my master's degree, and now I'm trying to cash flow a wedding, so it kind of was a little concerning. But I wanted to see what that advice that you guys could give was, and if staying in the job is a good idea, or just moving forward will also be, another option that I have available, I guess. Yeah.
Is your current situation job-wise, are you still in it? Have you quit that job? Is it a good environment to be in? All of that if you decided not to take the new job?
So, yeah, I'm really happy. It's a really high-paying job. I'm really thankful. It's just, the opportunity that I had, to accept an offer. I did accept it. For the dream job, it was really just the fact that it was my dream job. You
just jumped at it, without really thinking. Yeah. I mean, you feel terrible for the new employer, but honestly, for you, Dave, I mean, my priority is making sure that you're in a good situation, and since the current job you have, not the new one, the current one isn't bad. It's not like you're leaving because of a toxic work environment or something immoral was happening. Then I would humbly say to the new job, like, hey, I know I accepted this. And I mean, you didn't sign any contracts or anything, right? On a legal aspect with the new job.
No, the only thing they did make me sign was the offer letter. But there was no obligation for me to, come on board by a certain date. They haven't given me a start date or anything. I'm still doing the whole pre-employment process. But there was no obligation for me to come on board and sign my life away.
Is this dream job still going to be on the table 2 years from now?
Yes. I guess another reason why I took the job was because there's a lot more room for growth later on, and that's kind of like where logically or one reason why I took the job too, because the differences in levels they do vary by a lot more here at the new job that I'd be taking.
So
like
what's this new job pay compared to the current one?
So my current job, I am making $110 a year, and then the new one is $94.
Okay, and how quickly can you move that 94 salary up, since you said that there is room to grow?
I'm guessing 3 years. I also got a sign-on bonus. I don't know if that kind of pushed me over.
How much was it?
To taking the job? Because $20K.
Oh,
$20K. Okay.
Here's what I'm thinking. What if we take this new job, since it's the dream job? I assume you're going to excel in it, since it's the dream. You're going to grow faster than you think. Mm-hmm. What if you take on a side job to cover the gap so that you can continue the debt snowball? And once you're there, you've started increasing your income. Your debt is gone. Now you can easily continue in this job. So that's another option there, instead of backing out of this whole thing.
Yeah, and especially since there's room for growth, Dave, and you had that $20,000 signing bonus, which is great because that kind of fills in the gap for at least a year, right?
You can throw that at your debt.
Yeah, and continue to move up. So I'm good if you take the new job, especially since you know that there's going to be a growth track, and maybe you talk to them, go back even, and say, hey, I kind of accepted this pretty quickly. Is there a way to renegotiate maybe even my salary to bump it up a few $1,000s just to help in the meantime?
Just get a clear plan of what that growth looks like.
Yep, absolutely. Thanks, Dave. Good luck, and have fun with the new dream job. This is The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day comes from Proverbs 16:18. Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit comes before a fall. This quote is from Derek Zoolander.
Oh, legendary philosopher.
Do you ever think that maybe there's more to life than being really, 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 really ridiculously good looking?
That is one of my favorite quotes on the show so far.
Oh.
And I do wonder if there is more to life. I do often wonder that.
Do you ever think?
I was hoping you'd do the accent, the Zoolander accent.
What? I know I can't do it. Can you?
I can, but I'm not going to.
Do it. Do it, George. Read it.
I don't know if I could do it.
You can do it.
Do you ever think that maybe there's more to life than being really, really ridiculously good looking?
Yes,
I don't know. Something like that. There you go.
I know how much you love fashion icons, Rachel.
How much
She's
I love
big.
fashion icons. Zoolander is one. Man, that was a moment in our
in our
youth that it was like it was a staple. It was a staple.
Like Napoleon Dynamite. Remember when that
was
like,
one too? I know.
It was like a brand. It was your whole
funny.
personality. It was like The Office. The Office became people's personalities.
Yes,
They spoke in Office quotes.
So good.
Good times.
Friends used to be that too. All right, up next we have Titus in Kansas City. Hey, Titus, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. How can we help?
Yeah, so I just started a clothing brand, and it's really made me come to the realization that, like, I need to get my finances straight because I'm 17 and I've been working for like 3 years and I have like no money, and I've tried to like budget, but I just can never like stick to it.
How's the business going? Has it made money?
Yeah, I just launched like a couple days ago, but it's starting to pick up and I'm making sales, so it's working out, but I just want to make sure that I can actually like sustain it and things like that. And I know that if I have bad money habits, it's just going to all go down the drain. I'm not going to know where it went.
Well, good for you, Titus, as an entrepreneur.
Love a young entrepreneur. Are you in high school still, or are you working? What's going on?
Yeah, I'm a senior right now. I'm graduating in May.
Okay.
That's
are
great.
you planning on going to college or trade school, or are you going straight into entrepreneur life?
I would love to just go into entrepreneur life, but I may just take some like business courses or something like that for some networking.
Yeah, I think that's wise to get some education in that space to propel you into this. So with this business, have you gone into debt for it? Because you're saying you're wanting to follow the baby steps. Where are you at financially? Do you have money in the bank? Do you have debt?
So I don't have any debt, but I'm a heavy spender. So like, I spend like all my money basically when I get it. But I have a good work ethic, so I'll make money and I'll have it coming in, but then I just kind of spend it. Even if it's for something like clothing, it's like, I always have like no money by the end of the month.
You sound like me, Titus, at 17.
Sound like a 17-year-old. So
I bounced 3 checks, Titus, at Hollister when I was your age.
Can you guys picture little Rachel Cruz writing a check at Hollister?
I did.
If you gave them a check today, they would be so confused.
They would be like, what is this? So, Titus, I think, you have a little bit of that personality that I'm so thankful you're addressing it now, because you kind of have that personality and that grit that you could be one of those people that just out earns their stupidity for a while, right? You just make more money, and I can still kind of not be good with money, but I can out earn my stupidity is what it ends up being. So you kind of have that a little bit in you, which isn't always bad, because that means if you can fix one end of that equation and the other one is flourishing of actually making money and out earning, or earning a ton, you're going to be in a great position. So I love that at 17, you're self-aware enough to know this and start working on it, because you don't have the life in, right now, in the sense of bills and having to be in charge of food and rent and all of that.
Insurance.
So that's right. So I would ask yourself, Titus, what's causing you to spend? One question I ask myself, because I know myself well, is if nobody sees this purchase, do I still want it?
Yeah, I've asked myself that question too. I think a lot of it is just like obviously just my interest is like very like materialistic. So I feel like I just like spend a lot of money on things that I definitely don't need. But like recently after I found your show, like I've just kind of been beating myself up over it the past couple months. And like, I just want to like get straight and know that I'm like really making progress so I can like really build wealth. I don't want to just be like stupid with my hard-earned money.
Yeah,
it's a great place to be. But now we got to move forward instead of looking backwards, beating ourselves up.
Yeah, don't beat yourself up, Tice. You're fine. You're 17, man. You're okay.
And you said you don't have any debt, right?
No debt at all.
Yeah, it's okay. Don't be hard on yourself.
How much is the business making? Like, where's this income coming from? Because you said you're spending it all.
So I work for an entrepreneur academy, and I work about 30 hours a week. And then I also have another job at a grocery store, which I get paid like $12 an hour at, and I get like 15 hours a week.
Wow, while in school full time?
I'm just kind of using that. So yeah.
Are you homeschooled?
Like, start the business.
Do you go to school, or are you homeschooled?
Yeah, I have like half like virtual school and then half like regular school, so I'm able to work like extra hours.
Okay.
What a time to be alive.
Yeah, so I think for you, Titus, it's just starting to put boundaries and limits on your spending. It doesn't mean you can't spend anything, but you want to be very, very diligent. So I would remove anything in your life that makes it easy to spend. And I don't know if that's apps. I don't know if that's your Amazon Prime account and you need to log out of it. If it's the people you're around, like removing those obstacles of where you just are tempted to spend, or if it's a place that you're like, I go here, right? Like the mall. Hollister. That was my place to be at 17, and just to have the discipline right now to say I'm not doing that, and to have a dollar amount that you want to save every month, Titus, that again isn't your whole paycheck, because you want to be able to give some of this money. I want you to practice being generous with some of it, and I want you to be able to spend some of it, but I also want a big savings goal to look at and start that same drive that you have towards these businesses. Make that a drive towards your saving. It's that same kind of spirit to say, I want to move forward in this and be creative and figure this out. And that's what you want to do with your money too. And so hitting that number is also a great way to goal set, a realistic number.
And on the business side, the baby steps don't apply to business in that sense, but what does apply is living completely debt-free, running your business debt-free, having a pile of money in savings and your reserves to cover new expense, a new hire, things coming down the road, an emergency. And so there are things that apply there. I'm going to gift you a few things. Number one is Rachel's book, Know Yourself, Know Your Money, because it's super important to have that self-awareness of, oh, this is why I am the way I am with money. How do I move forward knowing that? So I'm going to gift you that book as well as Dave's book, Entree Leadership. This is how he built this business from a card table in his living room to the empire it is today. And I'm going to throw in one more that could be helpful for you. Our friend Christy Wright wrote a book called Business Boutique that really helps those super small business owners from this is a hobby, this is an idea. Now, how do I actually jump into the marketing? How do I price this really well so that it can grow and flourish? So I'm going to send you all three of those. And as you grow this business, let us know how it's going. I'm inspired by a 17-year-old who's like, I'm going to do it my way and own this thing.
And I would say, too, Titus, at your age, at 17, I think one of the best ways to use your time and your energy and is investing in yourself, meaning like, just learn from this. This is a great business. You don't have to, don't make it like this may not be the thing that you take forever, right? But you're going to learn a lot of lessons in it, which I think is great. But the money that's coming off of the business is what's amazing, that you're going to be able to use that because you have a transition coming up at 18 years old. Depending on where you go and what you do, that can be very expensive. So having some money set aside will really, really help you, even if it's with tuition, if you're going to do, even community college, anything that's going to be able to help. And then on the other side, even through college, still continue to practice that saving because that's another big transition into life. So
love it.
I wouldn't wring your hands. Don't be freaking out. You're okay. You're doing great. And just getting those money habits, that's the best investment you can make on yourself.
Absolutely. Hang on the line. Jen is going to give you those 3 books. We're going to ship them to you. Wishing you the best, man.
Absolutely. George, great hour.
Awesome
Thanks
times.
for co-hosting. Thanks to everyone in the booth letting the show run. And thank you, America, for listening. This is The Ramsey Show.
Do you love a good Dave rant? Want to see the latest Ramsey Show videos going viral? Check out your favorite moments from The Ramsey Show on YouTube. Go watch and subscribe to The Ramsey Show channel on YouTube.